Hey everybody, and welcome to the second episode of GrenfellTalk. My name is Tom Cochrane, and joining me tonight is the lovely Jennifer Butler-Wight. Tonight we're going to run down 5 of the most frequently asked questions that we get here at Grenfell. These are questions that people like Jennifer get on a daily basis about what they need to know about coming to Grenfell, and we're going to run down 5 of them, ranging from everything like how to apply, to what student life is like, both here on campus and off campus through Corner Brook. My name is Tom Cochrane, in case I didn't say that already. I'm a student recruitment officer here at Grenfell. Jennifer is also a student recruitment officer. Thank you for coming here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
So why don't you take a second before we get into these questions to talk a little bit about where you are recruiting. So if someone's watching at home, they're like, oh, I might have seen that person before. Where would those people be?
So if you're living in the GTA or in the Ottawa area or outside in the country, outside of Ottawa, you might have seen me there. I also recruit in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. I recruit in Western Labrador, Central Labrador, and Southern Labrador. And I also have done some work in Central Newfoundland. So if you've been in any of those areas, I may well have been there as well.
Like, so you're like doing high schools and fairs,
yeah,
and also individual meetings too.
Yeah,
right?
So if you're in the GTA or anywhere in Ontario, you're wondering how can I meet this person? If you haven't already and you have some questions, definitely drop us a line. You can tweet us. We're on the web. All of our contact information is there. So we usually come back sometime in the winter, or we can Skype with you, and we'd love to answer any questions you might have.
Totally. So while we are going to run down 5 questions, and we'll probably reach into some other areas too, if you do have your own questions, please feel free to send them in. And there's 2 really good ways you can do that. You can send us a tweet at Grenfell Campus, and we'll get that here. Or you can, if you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment below the video, and we'll check in on those at the end of the show. If you're watching afterwards and you're not watching live, then feel free to send us an email. The easiest email address is study@grenfell.mun.ca, and that actually comes to me. So I'll be checking that, and I'll make sure to post that later on the show too. But please, if you're watching live, feel free to chime in, and we're happy to do what we can. So I feel like this is like a BuzzFeed style episode, which you're laughing.
I don't know what that means.
So a popular website, BuzzFeed, often posts
I'm so glad you're the social media guy.
Yeah, totally. So we're going to talk top 5.
Top 5.
So
quick rundown.
What do you think is one of the most frequently asked questions that you're getting from either high school students or maybe someone who's recently out of high school? What are things that they are wondering about?
Yeah, so I mean, the top question, and this can go for any university, it can go for anyone that's like looking to go to university. It's certainly, 2001 when I was looking at university is a big question that I had. So I was like, how do I apply to university? What do I need to do? What kind of courses do I need to take in high school? When do I need to start thinking about that? Mm-hmm. So the easiest thing I tell students is talk to your guidance counselor, number 1.
Sure.
Because they know all the different schools. So for us in particular at Grenfell, we're part of Memorial University. To apply to us, you can just visit us online, grenfell.mun.ca, findyourcorner.ca. There's a big link there, apply. So you're going to click that. You'll follow the steps, go through what campus you want to attend, what program you're interested in, and it's pretty step by step. Now, the deadline is March 1st, but you'll find if you're applying to nursing, for instance, or visual arts, there might be some extra stuff you need to do. Yeah. It'll automatically prompt you to do that, so you don't need to worry. But if you're thinking ahead of time and you're kind of a little bit nervous, definitely contact us again. We can kind of walk you through the process. In terms of deadlines for other programs, visual arts is March 1st as well. Theater is March 31st. So make sure you're looking at those deadlines when you're getting ready to apply as well. A lot of students are wondering, well, what courses should I be taking in high school? I know Jerry mentioned some last week.
Yeah, so if you're watching and you're specifically interested in theater, there's a lot of information with the application process specifically in episode number 1 of Grenfell Talk. So somewhere on the side of your screen, after we're done, if you want to click over there and listen to Jerry Atan, the chair of the theater program, talk very eloquently about the theater program, please feel free.
So for general admission to university, what we're looking for in particular, those 5 courses Jerry mentioned, we're looking for your English. These are all grade 12, by the way. Grade 12 English, grade 12 math, grade 12 lab science. So that could be something like biology, physics, chemistry. It's going to vary depending on which province you are in. We're also looking for a social science or a modern classical language, and then any other like grade 12 elective. So if you're wondering, well, what's going to fall into a social science, or does my earth systems count towards a lab science, or maybe I don't have this one, or maybe I do, but I'm not sure. We get a lot of questions about what falls into each category of like math, for instance. Best way to answer that is to give us a call, tell us where you're from, or drop us in line, because it's going to vary by province. It's going to vary if you're at a province or out of the country even. Yeah. So kind of let us know where you're coming from, and we can easily answer those questions.
Because I guess the grade 12 math courses in Newfoundland are different than Ontario or Nova Scotia. Okay, cool. And so what's an elective course? You said that.
So an elective course could be your visual arts, your drama, could be something like music.
So it's anything else at grade 12 level?
Yeah, anything else at a grade 12 level. So anything that doesn't fall into those social sciences, or even if it does fall into like a social science, we're always going to take the highest grade. So if you have physics, biology, and chemistry at grade 12, if you bomb physics and then you did really well in bio, we're going to take your bio because we want you to have the most competitive average when it comes to those scholarships.
Okay, cool. And so if someone wants more information on that, later on we will do an episode with a lot more information about admissions. This is like very
bare minimum.
Yeah, but we do want to give you a little bit of info. But if you're curious and you have a specific question, get in touch with us, email or phone, and go to grenfell.mun.ca. It's the easiest way to find that. If you have a more general question, you want to fire us a tweet or a comment below, then feel free to. Okay, so that's number one.
Yeah, so that kind of leads us into number two, which is scholarships.
Okay.
So students work really hard in high school. What are you going to get? Like, what's the payoff?
Right.
Well, we have a couple levels of scholarships that we do at an entrance level. Then we have some that are available once you're into a particular program.
Okay.
So they're pretty competitive. They're reserved for the highest averages that we get in terms of entrance. These are awarded automatically, so you don't have to worry about filling out an application. When the applications come in, we have a scholarships office that look at the averages. And if you're up there, like the high flyers, I like to call them, you're going to get a full year tuition scholarship.
Okay.
So that's your first year entrance scholarship. So we've set aside X number of dollars for those high flyers.
Yep.
When that bit of money runs out, what we have is the next kind of top tier averages. They're going to get a half year tuition scholarship.
Okay.
So you might be wondering, well, what's that amount? Well, full year tuition at Memorial University is $2,550. So it is the lowest in the country. In English-speaking Canada, definitely. So we tell students it's not because it's a low-quality education. It's because we're highly subsidized by our government, as you know. So you're going to get that first year paid for totally, tuition done. It's amazing.
Cool.
$1,275 for the next level. And if you're wondering, okay, well, what if I want to do visual arts or something a little bit, more specific? Once you're into your programs, VA, for instance, has 13 scholarships.
Right. So different programs have, on top of and separate from the entrance scholarships, there's other programs that, or other programs have different scholarships.
Yeah. And that's something you can look into, mun.ca/scholarships. You can visit, and it'll break it down by campus. It'll break it down by program, and they're all listed there. So it's a really great way to find out what you're eligible for once you're into your program.
Cool.
And students who are watching from Newfoundland and Labrador, if you want to check out the entrance scholarships we have for Newfoundland and Labrador students, definitely talk with your guidance counselor. They vary from $16,000 to $30,000, I believe. So definitely check out. Some of them do require a application, and they do require, I think, a 90% average. So if you're up there, you should be talking to your guidance counselor for sure.
Cool. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always a good point. If you're in high school and you're curious about university, talk to your guidance counselor.
Yeah, they know everything like about every university.
Yeah, some of them know more than us about.
It's true.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Okay. Do you think that covers that?
Yeah, scholarships is it's one of those big questions we get, but it's a pretty simple answer. It's easy to find online. If you're still not sure, just drop us a line again.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, that's 2.
Yep.
That's number 3.
Number 3 is housing.
Okay.
So this is a fun one. Grenfell Campus is, again, we're one of MUN's campuses. We're located on the west coast of Newfoundland, the island portion of our province. We have just opened some brand new resident spaces, which are awesome. I hope you guys do a Grenfell talk on housing one day down the road.
We definitely will.
Yeah, and you get to see some of the cool photos we have. The facilities are fantastic. So there's a bunch of options that we have here on campus, as you know. we have 50% of our students who live in res.
Oh, that's really
so
cool.
that's really cool. You find this community on campus that may not necessarily be at other universities. Because we have about 1,300 students and about 600 of those live in residence. There's that, on-campus life that is a little bit different than elsewhere, I would suggest. We have our arts and science residence, which is your typical dorm. We have our brand new residence complex, which opened last fall. We have our chalet apartment style. So that's a little bit more independent living. You go in your second year. The prices range from, I think, $1,280 to $2,620, depending on which residence you're living in. You can definitely check out the prices online, because I may be wrong.
Definitely check out the Grenfell website, or if you have a Grenfell view book that you might have picked up from Jen or someone like that, check that out for the final prices.
Yes, because I may very well be mistaken.
It's okay. You're doing pretty good going on memory.
Well, yeah, they're going to vary, and they're going to vary based on if you're living in, well, all of our rooms are single, but they're kind of like suites. That's how I explain them to students. So if you're walking in the hall, there's only going to be one door, but when you walk into that door, you're going to have a shared bathroom, you're going to have a shared refrigerator, and then there's going to be 2 more doors, and that's where your bedroom is. So you have your bed, your study space, and your little storage area in there. So even though it's always a single room, there are some like bachelor pads as well. So the price will vary. Every single room on Grenfell campus is a single room, which is something that students really appreciate. You're still able to have your roommate, someone that you can, knock on their door and talk to, but it still gives you that bit of privacy. So students really appreciate that about our campus in particular. What else can I tell you? We have our brand new res is like a hop, skip, and jump. It's a little bit outdoors. If you live in the old res, Kirsten McCaffrey says it's awesome because Kirsten is awesome anyway. But when she talks,
Kirsten is one of our student ambassadors.
And she's hilarious.
And sometimes she helps out with the show.
So she says, if you live in the arts and science residence, it's awesome. You never have to go outdoors. You can just walk to the library in your onesie in the middle of winter with fluffy slippers. We always know who the students who live in res are because of what they're wearing. And if you are going into a second year, you want a bit more independence, you could definitely live in a chalet. So our chalets are 4 bedrooms. Again, they're all single. But you have a bathroom and a half that you share with your 3 roommates. You have your kitchen, living room, and dining room. So that's a way that you can get that independence of an apartment, but still have the comfort of living on campus and kind of, paying for it up front, not having to worry about heat and light bill and all those things.
There was a question that came in just before we started, asking about housing, and she asked if it was required that you have to be older than 19 to be in the chalets, and that's not the case, right?
I don't believe so. No. I believe if you are entering in your first year, then you're going to go into the arts and science residence or the new residence complex. After first year, then you kind of can go into the chalet if you're interested in.
Right. You don't have to. You can stay in residence.
You can. Yeah. People will stay in residence all 4 years because they love it so much. Some people will go on and become residence assistants. So that's actually a great way to kind of defray your costs of university and still live in residence. So there's a bunch of options there that appeal to different categories of students.
Cool. That's awesome. Okay. So we're doing pretty good. That's 3.
Yep.
What's number 4?
Number 4, let's see. Life outside of class. So I tell students on the road all the time, the biggest thing that's going to separate, university from university or campus from campus. And it's particularly important when we're on the road because students often have a choice between Grenfell and St. John's, for instance. So I say it's what you're going to do outside of class time that often is a decision maker for many students.
Sure.
So we promote ourselves as at Grenfell in Corner Brook as the hub of activity in all 4 seasons. Yep. You see my presentation, that's the words that we use. And it's because it's true. So if you're like me and you love the summer, there's no lack of things to do. Yeah. There's a lot to do in the city and there's a lot to do on campus. So in terms of the city, you know more than anyone, like the art scene is pretty vibrant here.
Yep, it's big. It's this really cool art scene that's we're a small city, so it's not huge, but what comes out of this art scene is very impressive, and it's a very inclusive scene. So if you want to come and join, it's very welcome and very open. And I know a lot of first year students just dive right into that, and you can see them on stage after they've only been here for 2 months. Like they're out in community productions all the time. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. And it's that kind of inclusivity. Is that a word? Inclusivity?
Sure.
It is now.
Yeah.
That kind of makes Corner Brook inviting.
Yep.
So I tell students, we appreciate our students so much in the city that we have a local grocery store who comes to campus in a bus a couple times a week and picks up our students to go get groceries and then brings them back, and they do it for free. So that's just one example of how we try to include students in the city. Of course, you know, that's just kind of an example. The art scene is huge. So if you want to get involved in that, there's definitely ways you can. Talk to Jerry. He knows everyone who to talk to. If it's not theater that you're into, there's visual arts, there's live music. There's a bunch of pubs and stuff once you're 19 that you can go to.
And of course the outdoor sort of
stuff is insane. I mean, well, all you got to do is follow Tom's photos online to see, you know, the beauty around Cornerbrook and the area.
Right. So if you're into hiking or kayaking or canoeing or
downhill skiing, cross country skiing,
Marble Mountain is right down the road.
Gross Morn is right there. If you don't want to go that far, we have the walking trails right here on campus. So it's a really great place to stay active if that's what you're into. If you're not into that and you don't want to leave campus, there's a lot to do on campus as well. So besides, you know, the art scene, which is also big on our campus. I mean, we have an art gallery here. We have the Black Box Theater. Our students are currently doing their directed studies, plays and productions throughout the city. So you can definitely check that out. But there's also different clubs and societies. So maybe you're interested in the outdoor club. Maybe you want to go hiking with a group, or maybe you're interested in Oxfam, or you want to become a part of the 4 o'clock whistle.
Which is a publication that's published by students on campus.
I mean, they're always around, you know, asking questions, doing polls. Maybe it's a psych society you want to join, or the Christian Fellowship, or the Great Gay Straight Alliance. There's an abundance of clubs and societies.
I feel like every time I turn around, there's something new, right? And it's like, oh, I didn't know that. And it just the list keeps building. I think that's so cool.
And we tell students as well, if there's something that you're interested in that we don't have, you can create it. Go talk to the Grenfell Campus Student Union. They're really interested in hearing your ideas and your thoughts. They'll, you know, give you a boost and get you started. So definitely check that out as well.
No, that was one of the questions that came in earlier. Actually, was about, can you do that? And totally. And it's easy and encouraged to start your own thing. So please, if that's your thing, then do it. And sports on campus too.
Right? This year we've started a bunch of really cool stuff. So we don't do varsity per se. We do compete in the same circuit as the Seahawks, for instance, but it's by invitation. So we do competitive men's volleyball and basketball. We do competitive women's volleyball and basketball. If you're interested in swimming varsity, you can study at Grenfell Campus and swim varsity for the Seahawks. If you want to cross-country ski competitively, you can do that here at Grenfell as well. If you're not really into competitive sport, we have 3 different levels of rec passes here on campus that give you access to our brand new renovation double gymnasium, to our pool. We have a 25-meter pool on campus. We have access to the Pepsi Center facilities, which is the full 2 ice services, full Forever Young Fitness Center, walking track. So there's other ways to stay active that don't necessarily involve competitive sport as well. So I always tell students, check it out. It's a really great way to maintain your sanity, because there's going to be days where you're going to want to beat your head against the wall, no matter which program you do. So that's a good way to kind of stay calm and, you know, release those negative energies.
Are you speaking from personal experience?
Oh, gosh, yes. I loved my program. I did social cultural studies here at Grenfell in 2001, graduated in 2005. And I love learning all the different things I learned. But there were still days where I was like, oh, my gosh, really? Bang, bang. But I mean, it happens.
I can relate.
Yes.
I can understand. Okay, that's 4.
So number 5. This is a really cool one, actually. Here at Grenfell, one of the really cool things we have is an exchange coordinator. So Nicole works in the registrar's office. Her job is to put students in touch with exchange opportunities. So you heard me say earlier, we're one of 4 memorial campuses. So we have St. John's campus, which most people know about. They have the most course offerings for sure. We have Marine Institute, also in St. John's. We have Grenfell. We're awesome. We're here on the west coast of Newfoundland. And then we have Harlow. We are awesome. I mean, that's what I tell students all the time.
That should be our tagline.
It is. We are awesome. And our 4th campus, which is our little gem. I keep it in my back pocket if a student asks me about theater or visual arts, for instance. And that's our Harlow campus, which is located about 40 minutes outside of London, England. This is a part-time campus. Depending Depending on your program, you can go there. If you're doing really strict, rigid programs, it can be worked out. Just talk to your academic advisor. So we told you about your guidance counselor at high school. Your academic advisor is your guidance counselor in university.
In some ways, yeah.
So you can definitely kind of work out an exchange to Harlow if you're interested in it. If you're doing visual arts, you have an option to go to Harlow every 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you do Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater, you have mandatory semester in your 4th year. If you are in environmental studies, for instance, and you're not eligible to go to Harlow for a theater exchange,
Sure.
There are over 120 partnerships that we have worldwide. So I think we have a student going to Hawaii this year for the winter semester. I know, right?
Slightly jealous.
Slightly jealous.
What program are they doing? Can I sign up?
I think they're doing VA, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So we've had students go to Hawaii in the past
Mhm.
as well. I think it was a psychology student before.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested in not going somewhere warm, which I don't know why you wouldn't be,
That's okay.
you could go to Belize or Jamaica,
Yeah.
or you could go to Norway or Finland.
Mhm.
If you're studying French, you could go to France.
Yeah.
Depends on your course where you can go, but it's definitely worthwhile to check out. It's one of my regrets as an undergrad is that I didn't take part in an exchange, because you get to go and study abroad,
Yeah, totally.
and you still get to pay MUN tuition, which
Yeah.
is really quite affordable.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to kind of learn and learn
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah, totally. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I just heard about a visual arts student who's going to do an exchange in the UK for next semester, which is, I think, hot off the presses. So that's really cool.
That's really awesome.
So if someone's interested in learning more about those opportunities,
So we're part of National Student Exchange.
Mhm.
We're part of North to North.
Mhm.
I think there's another one that
so those are organizations that we
These-
run
yeah,
exchanges through.
yeah.
So they can go to their websites to see like a full list
For
of
sure.
possible schools.
Or if you're more specific into your program, you already know which program you want to do, contact Nicole.
Mhm.
If you want to get in touch with her, just let Tom know, and he can put you in
Yeah,
touch with her.
totally.
She knows by program, which country, all the ins and outs.
Yeah.
So she's there to kind of help put students abroad and bring in students. So the Hawaii one is 1-to-1. So the student is going to Hawaii for the winter semester. There's a poor Hawaiian going to come and spend the winter in Newfoundland, which is not that bad, actually. I tell students, if you can stand a winter in Ottawa, you're totally okay.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So-
Yeah. The cool thing about winter in Newfoundland is that while we do get a lot of snow,
It's functional.
it's functional. It's not as cold as it is in other parts of the country. And the weather's quite good.
Yeah.
Like, even if we get a stormy day, the next day is almost always gorgeous.
The
So it's like,
sunshine.
let's take advantage of that
Yeah.
and go skiing or something.
Yeah.
That's what I do, at least.
Mhm.
Even today, I was like, oh, there's like an inch of snow on the ground or something. I was like, oh, it's kind of sunny. I should go skiing. But
I don't think there's enough snow for that.
I think that would be a really bad idea.
Yeah.
Do you think is that like your top 5?
It is. Yeah. Like we get like more specific questions,
Mhm.
depends on the program. One thing I did forget to mention, we have a first year housing guarantee. So that's applied to Grenfell only.
Mhm.
Apply by March 1st for housing, and you're guaranteed as long as you're coming in the year that you graduate.
Right.
So that we try to tell students is really important. Even if you're not sure if you're coming, apply by March 1st. And that way you have your room secured, which
Yeah,
is really
totally.
important.
I think that is really important.
Some of the other things we talk to students about, it could be course selection.
Mhm.
So I talk to a lot of grade 10s and 11s in Newfoundland and Labrador. A lot of them are wondering, well, if I want to be a nurse,
Mhm.
if I want to go to Western Regional School of Nursing, what kind of courses do I need?
Mhm.
So you should talk to your guidance counselor, because you're going to need chemistry and you're going to need biology. And you can't get to grade 12 and want to do biology without having done it in grade 11.
Mhm.
So definitely we get some specific questions like that. We always direct students to talk to their guidance counselor. They're the most knowledgeable people about their particular high school
Totally.
courses, and then how that relates to university courses.
Cool. We've covered off. There's a couple questions that came in, but we've covered them off through discussion, which I think is really cool.
We're just that good.
We are just that good, Jen. That's exactly it. But if you do have other questions later, or like I said, if you're watching the recorded version of this, then please just send us an email. The easiest email address to reach us at is study@grenfell.mun.ca. And I'm going to do this. And so our website is down below. And
Right
our
here.
Twitter address is right. Can you also get the Twitter account?
Yeah,
Can you-
Twitter is
right down there. There you go.
yeah.
So send us a tweet and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. if you want to come for a visit, you want to come to Grenfell for a visit, go to the website, grenfell.mun.ca, and click on request a tour. And we'll be happy to show you around.
This guy gives the best tours. Grenfell tour guide extraordinaire.
I try. What can I say? I can introduce you to Jen. And if you want to meet someone from a specific program, or if you want to sit in on a class or anything like that, let us know, and we'll be happy to arrange an hour to a day for you. Anything that that suits for what you need, so you can get a feel for the place that maybe you'll spend 4 years going to school, which I think would be really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for coming in. It was super fun to have you.
It's always fun with you.
Oh. And thank you for watching. This has been the second episode of Grenfell Talk. We're going to take a break during the Christmas break. We'll be back in the new year. So you can check the Grenfell website, grenfell.mun.ca, for a schedule. And we'll have posted there like what we'll be talking about and when we'll be talking about it. And until then, if you want to watch this again, you can go to youtube.com/Grenfell Campus, where you'll also find the talk that I had with Jerry Etienne a couple weeks ago about theater. But until then, my name is Tom Cochrane. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.